Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for coming back to the channel here. So for the past 2 months, I haven't been able to get out with my telescope and do any imaging. So what have I been up to? Um, been working, but beyond that, I tore down my rig, my astronomy rig, and I kind of built it back up. I just wanted to pay more attention to cable management and cable placement, so I don't get any snags when my rig is outside collecting data and photographing the night sky. So I also picked up one of these mini PC. So my hope with this is that I will be able to remote into the telescope from my laptop here and control everything when I'm nice and comfy inside the house here. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I hook everything up and control everything from my laptop here and connect to the mini PC on my Astro rig. So stay tuned, and if you like this video and you find it informative, a thumbs up would be fantastic. And if you like the channel and you've checked out some of my other videos, a subscribe would be greatly enjoyed as well. So stay tuned, and I'll meet you back here on the laptop in a second.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so I got the mini PC all up and running. Um, if you go down to where my clock is and you notice it says Mini Astro 9569 Internet Access, that is that's the Wi-Fi hotspot on the mini PC. So this is actually how I'm going to be able to remote in when I'm at a remote site. Because there's going to be no internet connection, what I'll have to do is I'll have to make my cell phone a hotspot because I will have cell signal. It'll be very limited, but it'll be a cell phone signal, which means I'll be able to hook up to the internet, and that will allow me to remote in from the laptop here into the mini PC. When I'm here at home, what I will do is if you go down by my clock again and I click on this, I click on the networks. So when I'm at home, I'll just click on my home Wi-Fi. It'll be Tremblay. So that'll be for when I'm at home. But right now I'm going to show you what I'm going to be hooked up to and access it as if I was in the field. At our dark sky site, 45 minutes from here. Okay, so what I like to do is I have a program here. It says Remote Desktop. Now, I'm using Windows 11 or Windows 11 Home on the laptop, which unfortunately doesn't have a remote desktop available to Windows. So I had to download a third-party program called Remote Desktop, and it pretty much does the exact same thing. It's free, which was good. Whereas if I were to upgrade to Windows Home Pro, that would cost me about $130, and then I would have Windows Remote Desktop, and I could remote in that way. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Remote Desktop here. And as you can see, I have my mini PC already saved. Connecting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'll type in my username and password, and then I will unpause it, and I will meet you back here in a second, and I should be all logged in to my mini PC. And bam, there we go. So right now I'm just going to scroll down here, make sure I'm still recording. Yep. Okay. So right now I am in my mini PC on my Astro rig. This technology is so cool. Like 5-10 years ago, you couldn't do this. You had to have the laptop out with you and all that, and that's what I was doing for a while. So that's why I got the mini PC, so I could keep my laptop inside. But anyway, okay, so what I like to do first is I like to call up Stellarium. Okay. Now I'm not going to hook up to PhD2 just for the fact that there's no stars to lock onto. But anyways, so I got Stellarium up and running. I'm gonna minimize that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up the ASCOM Poth Scope and Dome Hub. With my mount, this is going to kind of work almost like EQ mod for Skywatcher. So I'm going to call this up, and this is my telescope mount control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go setup, and then setup again. I'm going to make sure everything is registered, so it's picked it up, COM port 3. Okay, everything's good. All right, and I'm going to hit connect, and hopefully, yep. So the green dot there means it's connected. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up Nina. I'll hit OK here. And then you'll know when the mount's connected when all these numbers populate. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to connect my camera first. It's thinking about it. Okay, perfect. It's connected. Okay, now what I like to do is I like to just do a manual rotator, just in case I have to rotate the camera in the orientation that I want to shoot for that night's imaging session. So I'm going to get that on. There we go. Okay, so then I go over here to telescope. Okay, and as you can see right here, it says Poth Hub. So I'm going now. Sometimes this gives me an error, and I have to disconnect and then reconnect. So I just want to see if it's going to connect right away. So let's just see here. Ah, it worked. There we go. Awesome. Cool. So I'm going to unpark the telescope. Okay. So right now, it will move if I press any of these buttons. So I'm just going to go over to the mount there and just make sure that all the wires are connected properly, and I'll see you back here in a couple seconds. Okay, everything seems to be good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push these buttons here, okay, and I just want to listen to see if the mount's going to move. Yep, mount's moving. Move it back. Okay, so the mount is moving. I don't know if you could hear it, but the mount is moving. Also got a camera on over there, so I will add that picture somewhere in the screen here so you can see as I'm doing stuff on the computer. The other camera will pick it up when I move it. Okay, so what I like to do is, with Nina's fantastic. You can actually set it up if I go to options, and I believe it is equipment. Yep. So I can actually have this thing set up to Stellarium. So it's linked up with Stellarium right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Stellarium. And what I like to do is I like to use Stellarium to try and pick what I'm going to look at for, or what I'm going to image for the night. So let's say the Triangulum Galaxy. for giggles. So I'll double click on it, get it all nice and centered. Okay, so then what I do is I go down to Nina. I go into the framing tab. Okay, now, like I said, I'm going to be treating this like I'm out in the field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this on the offline sky map. All right, and then what I do is I get coordinates from planetarium, so which is stellarium. So I just click this button here, and it populates the Triangulum galaxy. Okay, so now what I do is I go down. Usually I'd click this small little button here, and I would go slew, center, and rotate. Okay, but I'm just going to go to slew right now, because if I go slew, center, and rotate, it'll try and plate solve, and it'll want me to rotate the camera. I'm just in my basement right now, so I'm not going to be pointing to anything except the wall or the ceiling or wherever it ends up pointing. So I'm going to just click slew, and the other camera will pick it up, and you'll see it move. And this is all done wirelessly through the Wi-Fi hotspot on the mini PC. So there you go. It's slewing. I'm just going to have a look. Yep, everything's moving good. And there you go. And a little crosshair there just appeared on the screen to say that it is good, that it's on target. So this mini PC stuff is all new to me. There were some things setting it up that I had to work a couple of days on, such as having it, as soon as I turn on the mini PC, to have it just go right into Windows. I had to try and find the option to do that instead of having to type in a password, because if I typed in a password or a key code or whatever, I wouldn't be able to remote in, because remoting in, I'm actually connecting to Windows right on the desktop. So once that mini PC boots up, it goes right to the desktop. It goes past the lock screen and it goes right to the desktop. So that's how I'm able to remote in. But yeah, so again, okay, go to stellarium. So I don't know, say I want to go look at the Heart Nebula. Okay, so there it is there in stellarium. Okay, go back over to Nina. Go over to the Get Coordinates from Planetarium button again. Okay, there. Now, mind you, you can rotate this with this slider here. You can rotate it to any angle you want. So let's say, right there. That looks good. So now, okay, I'm going to slew over to it. I'll go down here. I'll go to slew. And again, I don't know if you can hear it, but the mount is moving. I'm looking over there just to make sure everything's good. Yep, and it's done slewing. And there's that little crosshair again. That's cool. Okay, so now, if I were to have done slew, center, and rotate, okay, so what it's going to do first is it's going to slew to the target. Then it's going to come up with instructions on, depending on my orientation there on the screen, Nina's going to calculate how much I have to rotate my camera either clockwise or counterclockwise. And then as I move it and hit OK, it'll take another picture, and then it'll tell me, okay, 2 degrees counterclockwise or whatever, until I get to a specific number that I have programmed into Nina. I can't remember exactly what it is, but once I get that rotation, then it'll plate solve. It'll get it centered in the camera to whatever I have on the screen in Nina here, and then I can go start up my imaging plan. So from here, I would just go add targets to sequence, but I can, if I, I'll go simple sequencer. Okay. It'll bring me to the simple sequencer, and this is where I'm going to take this is where I set it all up to take the pictures. So say I want to do, 60 pictures at 3 minutes, which is 180 seconds. Okay. So if you notice up here, that number changed from 1 or from 0, all zeros, it changed to 3 hours. So 60 pictures at 180 seconds is going to take me 3 hours. So if I'm out in the field and my battery pack's there, you should be able to see them on the camera that's focused on the telescope. The one battery, the smaller one, it has an indicator on how many hours I'll be able to get. So if I'm running everything except my dew heaters, I have my dew heaters plugged into the big battery there. It says I can get 7 hours. Well, I'm not going to stay up there for 7 hours, especially if it's during the week or whatever. But I mean, if I can get more than 3 hours, just a little bit, maybe even 4 hours if I'm there, because it gets dark still fairly early here. So if I'm able to get 4 hours, that's fantastic. Then I would just adjust this number here, total number. So let's do 70. Okay, hit enter. So that's an hour or 3 hours and 30 minutes. So let's go 80. And there's 4 hours. So 80 pictures at 3 minutes each equals 4 hours of integration time. So yeah, this Nina is fantastic. If you don't use it or you haven't tried it yet, I would highly recommend trying it. And if you do use it and you're watching this video, please let me know down in the comments below what you think of Nina, what version you're using. I believe I'm using the nightly version. Now, one thing up here, it says update available. Do you want to update now? I did an update before, and it totally screwed up my mount. Like it wouldn't plate solve or anything. It was really, really frustrating. So I had to go back to an earlier install, and it fixed it right away. But anyway, I'm going to cut this video off. I'm going to end this video here. I just wanted to show you my process for how I connect my laptop to my new PC and control everything and pick targets and set up my sequence for the night through Nina. So I hope you found this video enjoyable, and I hope you learned something. If you did, again, please, a thumbs up would help. I'm currently at 455 subscribers, and thank you to every single one of you. But if you're new to the channel, I would really appreciate a subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so every subscription helps. And again, thanks to all my subscribers. So hopefully we have some clear nights coming up soon when I'm not working. I highly doubt it. I checked the forecast, and it doesn't look good for the next week and a half to 2 weeks. So that's winter. What are you going to do? But anyway, I'm going to sign off here. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. And we'll talk to you in the next video, and clear skies.